Man, it's cold out here. This time of year, the little diesel heater doesn't do much. So it's that time of year where we decide what needs to be done with this and what upgrades we're going to do. Before I talk about that, though, for the new people, I want to back up a little bit and tell you what this is. This is a 1970s hardtail dragster. I bought it from a Harley shop in Maple Valley. It was yard art. It was just kind of sitting there. The front of the chassis was bent. The front axle was bent. One of the front wheels was bent. And the whole back of the car here was twisted like that. So it took me several months to get that all straightened out. In the process of doing that, I realized that the chassis probably wasn't going to pass any kind of a CERT inspection. So I decided to slow it down. I was originally going to put a small block Chevy in it. I decided I was going to put a 4.3 V6 in it. And I actually had it sitting in the car. Then I looked around the shop and I realized I don't have any V6 parts at all. So there would be a lot of expense in doing that. And as I was looking around, I discovered that I have a 40-year stockpile of hot rod Datsun parts. So in looking around on the internet, I discovered that ATI makes an adapter plate, a flex plate, and will build you a torque converter to mount a Chevrolet transmission to a Datsun 280Z engine. Well, an L series engine, they're all the same in the back, and pretty much all the same in the front. The only difference between this engine and a Z car is that this is 2 cylinders shorter. So I ordered that up. I had the torque converter custom made and decided I was going to run a 4-cylinder Datsun. This is a completely stock and 15-year-old L20B, bone stock on the bottom end. And I don't honestly remember if I rebuilt it 15 years ago or 25 years ago. I can't remember the last time. It has seen 7,000 RPM more times than I can count. I was a little bit nicer to it in this configuration. I was shifting it at 65. The cylinder head is actually off of a bigger motor that I used to run in the blue truck. And I just took it off of that engine. That engine needed to be freshened up. So I just took the head off, dropped it on here, and I put some 40 millimeter DCOEs on it instead of the 48 millimeter DCOEs that were on it. Also put a smaller cam in it. And this is how it ran. And so for the rest of it, basically what I got when I bought it was a bent chassis with some really tattered sheet metal and incomplete. I didn't have most of it, which is why the body is short on this car. I didn't have any of the front pieces. I got a bent axle, a steering rack, the radius rods, and the wheels. And one of the wheels was bent. I got this rear axle with drum brakes and these wheels. Inside the housing is a Mark Williams spool, 35 spline Mosier axles, and 433 Richmond gears. The gear ratio is not right. It's just what came with the car, so I just ran with it. It should probably be a 457, 465, 471, somewhere in there. I put strange brakes on it, total overkill. This thing stops on a dime. This is a Power Glide I had my old transmission guy built for me before he passed away. He had problems putting it together and said it might work, it might not. If it needs If it doesn't work, bring it back. And then he passed away. And it does have a problem. It is bound up inside. There's something wrong with it. It doesn't really have neutral. It just has another drive. If I start the car up and I'm not in it and I put it in neutral, it just takes off. It'll take off across the yard. So you have to have your foot on the brake when you're in neutral all the time, because it's basically drive until you whack the gas pedal, and then it'll break free to some degree. So what are we going to do? What we're going to do is I'm going to take the transmission out. I've already taken the radiator off. We're going to send this out and have somebody troubleshoot it, because it's beyond my capabilities. So what we're going to do to the engine is I'm going to pull the head off of it, and intake, header, all of this. Pull this bottom end out, get it out of here. And I have the 2.3 that this was bolted to freshened up. So let me cut the plastic bag off of the 2.3 and I'll show you what that looks like. So this is what's known as an LZ 2.3. This is a Z22 that the head was pulled and scrapped. This was bored from 87 to 89. So it's 89 millimeters on the bore, and it's 92 millimeters on the stroke. The L20B that's in the car is 86, it's 40 over, so it's 86 millimeters by 86 millimeters. So this is quite a jump. The Z22 block will accept the L20B head. It's a much better head than the Z22 is a smog engine. So, but the bottom ends are actually pretty sought after just for doing this. These are forged pistons, ARP rod bolts, forged crank, fresh hone. I just honed it, I just decked it. And as you can see, the block has been filled. So the cylinders will now rely on the oil to cool. It'll be fine just going down the track and shutting off. So when I was running the LZ 2.3 in the blue truck, that truck would run 1360s at 95 miles an hour all day. I think it made a couple of 1358 runs, 1359, but it really settled in at about 62 to 64. Strangely enough, with this transmission being bound up and this little engine weighing probably half as much, this also ran 1360s. So I am curious to see what is going to happen with the big engine in the Dragster, the transmission fixed, and then once we figure out what it wants to run at what speed, fix the gearing, I think it's going to move. I think it's going to be a lot faster. So that's the plan. Fix the tranny, big motor, gear it correctly, new belts, and that's what we're doing. The video that I made last week about that intake manifold has done really well. I really appreciate everybody's comments. I appreciate all the views, a lot of views on that. Means more to me than you know. So thank you. Please keep it up. Like, subscribe, tell your friends. I'm going to keep doing this. I'm not giving up. So I'll be here. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend.